America Radio, a place where conservatives, libertarians, and Tea Party Americans come together to get the real deal news. No filter, and a lot of patriotic spirit. We are America Radio.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.
The United States.
This is America, Jack.
We're Americans.
This is the power of suggestion.
The ultimate gala spectacle.
You want to hear the truth? Yeah, I want to hear the truth. The truth is,
its cruel symptoms can strike anyone.
That's all I'm going to say at this time.
What creates an extraordinary life is an extraordinary mindset.
Now that I got your attention, listen to this.
Let's go!
We're now in the approach phase. Everything looking good. Control is good. 5, rocket copy. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
The Wayne Dupree Program.
Good Google Miss Mugger. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wayne Dupree Show. I'm your host, Wayne Dupree, here on War Radio. We are America Radio, your primary source for conservative news, straight talk for real Americans. I mean, we're talking real talk for real Americans. I'm happy to be back again for another week here on Spreaker, the Right Side Broadcasting Network, WCCD AM out of the greater Cleveland area. Thank you for tuning in to the show. We got some new listeners going on tonight. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I have some of the greatest conservative co-hosts that you have not heard because the mainstream media, that includes our side, are so stuck on the same old voices all the time. So, it's time for us to add some more voices to the conversation. Let me introduce the First Lady of War Radio, Miss Stacey Rush. What's up, Stace?
Hey, Wayne Dupree. How you doing this evening?
I'm fine. How's everything down there in Georgia?
Well, I am just loving this week because when you're making Chuck Schumer cry, you are obviously winning.
Yeah, you see those crocodile tears. So you saw those freaking crocodile tears he had on. But you know what, though? I think the devil told me to do it, so I'm going to do it. His tears, he out-teared Hutch Bailey Jr.
Touche.
I had to, Hutch. I had to.
That was good, man.
And it just came to me. It just came to me right there.
He didn't even introduce me yet.
You're just going straight for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the co-host of the Wayne Dupree Show, Mr. Hutch Bailey Jr. What's up, Hutch?
Good evening, Mr. Dupree. Hey, what was up with that family that Schumer was out there with? Did you see them?
I saw them. They act like they didn't even want to be out there, man.
They had like the dude from the PLO, like Yasser Arafat was over there. Then he had some white girl wrapped up in a bed sheet.
I saw that.
And then he had all them little redheaded Chechen children looking like they were on Ritalin. That was the most bizarre thing I've seen in a long time.
It looked like a cleaned up version of the Addams Family. You know what I'm saying? You had Lurch over to the right side, to the left, or the right side of them.
And that's the way they are, too. The dude was dressed, they had to take him out of central casting. He was dressed like a truck driver from Texas.
Yeah, he was like, am I supposed to stand here on this X right here? Cap. Yeah.
But that hijab that was on that woman, she was about 4 foot tall and about 4 foot wide. and the sheet she had on, it wasn't even a proper hijab. It looked like a sheet.
Yeah, it looked like a sheet. It was like, hey, somebody go up to the family residence upstairs, get a sheet real quick.
Hey, I'm sorry. You take a senator from New York and insult my intelligence and bring him out there like he's really crying, I'm going to make fun of it.
You know what? As a matter of fact, hold on. Oh, man. Okay, so...
Do you have a clip of it, Wayne Dupree?
No, well, I have a clip of Donald Trump responding to it.
Allow me to send you one.
I have a clip of Donald Trump responding to it. Let's see.
Stand by.
Yeah. No, and while I'm looking for it, Donald Trump responded to Chucky Schumer's crying today, and I was like, wow, the guy.
I love me some Donald Trump.
Come on, man. There's no way that you can't love the dude. There's no. Okay, here it is, right here. I got it right here. Did you know that? Well, I'll talk about ABC in a second, but here it is, right here.
Actually, had a very good day yesterday in terms of Homeland Security. And someday we had to make the move, and we decided to make the move. It would be nice again if we could have our cabinet, because our cabinet,
okay, here it comes,
which is outstanding, is going through a lot in terms of what they're being put through in the Senate. Jeff Sessions, they made him wait an extra week, and they did that only for political reasons.
Yeah, they did.
They just made him wait. I said, why did they do that? Just politics. I noticed Chuck Schumer yesterday with fake tears. I'm going to ask him who is his acting coach, because I know him very well. I don't see him as a crier. If he is, he's a different man. There's about a 5% chance that it was real, but I think they were fake tears.
But I think they were fake tears. Yes, we totally agree there, Donald.
From the highest seat in the land, he called him out. He was like, yeah, okay, right, whatever. Oh my God. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. We're gonna have a special guest in just a few minutes. His name is Joe Biggs. As a matter of fact, I just found out tonight that Mr. Biggs is going to have a show on later on the RSBN network. That's right. Starting in February, I think.
All right.
Yeah, he's going to.
How about that RSBN, taking it to the next level?
Yeah, they go. It's a gun show, as a matter of fact. So all you gun owners out there, and y'all like all you Second Amendment lovers of liberty, Joe Biggs is gonna be out there, and he is gonna be definitely making you feel proper. Okay, he's gonna be making you feel proper, but he's gonna be on the show in just a few minutes. We're gonna bring him on. We're gonna talk about this Muslim ban ? I mean, because that's what the media has been talking about. The media has been talking about a Muslim ban. Liberals are talking about a Muslim ban. Democrats are talking about a Muslim ban. Hutch, is it really a Muslim ban?
Well, Fox News says it is, and I'm never going to give any slack to them. I watched Chris Wallace, and they changed it a little bit from Muslim ban to now they say Muslim majority countries.
No, they didn't.
But let me tell you that the executive order has the word Muslim and Islam in there exactly 0 times. It's about the country. It's not about, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is so intellectually lazy and absurd that it's ridiculous.
Go ahead, Steve.
I agree with you, Hutch. The thing that is bothering me today, and I put just a quick post up about it, is how this narrative is being shaped. None of this is spontaneous. All of it is very well funded and very well organized, and it is being covered the same way by every single network, whether it's Fox News or not. And I get so frustrated with the fact that we don't get the truth, or most Americans don't get the truth, because they're not tapping into new media as of today. And we really need to continue to get that message out, because they are telling the exact same stories on all the networks, even if they have slightly different stance on it. This is not a complete Muslim ban. This was done by Barack Obama for 6 months, and no one seemed to be in an uproar over that. And what about the Cuban ban that he just slid right in there right before he left? It's just complete BS, and it's a complete narrative shoved down our throats by corporate media.
Well, the way that I'm looking at it right now is they don't care. The Democrats really don't care about a Muslim ban. They don't care. And on the way home, I was thinking about this. I bet you most Democrats are still home. This is a group of anarchists.
Very well organized.
You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that. I really don't believe that they're part of. I probably don't even vote, but I don't believe that this group that is doing all this stuff is part of the Democratic Party.
If they
some might be, but
if anybody believes that this is spontaneous in nature, they're simply naive. They are absolutely simply naive.
And let me just speak to the audience a minute, especially to those of you that are feeling down and out and a little nervous right now, and you're feeling like maybe maybe you weren't right or something. This is all aimed at you. If you feel that way, they have succeeded.
Absolutely.
So shake that off. This is 100% funded by George Soros and other people. They are the same exact people that were at Occupy Wall Street, in Ferguson, everywhere else that you've seen large crowds. These are the people. It doesn't matter that this could have been at airports, or it could have been at sports stadiums. It could have been at hospitals. This group was ready to mobilize before the election was over.
Absolutely. And Hutch, because you look at the Women's March, and then you look at how the media is covering it. It is very well orchestrated, all of it. And it is designed to make people get down. You are 100% right about that.
And that's why I said Muslim majority countries, because what Stacey said is spot on too. These people had a meeting, ladies and gentlemen. Every single network changed their verbiage from Muslim ban to bans from Muslim majority countries. Verbatim.
They are all covering the same exact stories, maybe with a slightly different stance. I challenge each and every one of you to tape all the major networks, and you will see the same exact stories with the same exact verbiage.
Boom.
And I submit to you that they are telling you only what they want you to know, and you have got to shake this off, because if you're starting to get scared that this is the wrong move and that he's making the wrong move, do not go there.
If you are shaking in your boots right now and you're acting like what the see, I'm also surprised that the Republican leadership is not coming out and telling the truth about this thing. That's why I still say it's still Donald Trump and the American people and the people that voted for him versus everybody else.
Republican leadership is Donald Trump's worst enemy. Pay attention to them.
You don't see them out on the front lines right now protecting him. You have what's those two women senators that always hang together? McCain and Graham, Lindsey Graham and John McCain.
I was trying to think of two ladies, but
I was a little slow.
Two old ladies, man. Two old ladies that are just trying to start every other. I mean, look, they were on the wrong side of the Syrian rebel thing. That should tell you something. They were on the wrong side.
If they'd have been around during World War II, they'd have been on the wrong side of that too.
It make me sick. I mean, every time I see them, standing together. I mean, it just look like, I don't know, just something from Peter Pan. You know, those, when those fairies were like flying together and stuff. I mean, it's just. I'm just sick of seeing both of them try to destroy anything that is good that's coming out from the administration. They're not talking about any of the things that Donald Trump did last week. Not talking about anything. All they're talking about is when Donald Trump is trying to protect the country. And he said 90 days. Look, 90 days. It's not 6 months. It's 90 days. 90 days.
What the president said to them,
twinkle toes,
and everybody went crazy, I thought was 100% right. Why don't you people stop trying to start World War III? You've been doing it for 20 doggone years. Yeah. I thought of Cleveland there. I was ready to slip one. 20 years. Stop it.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Wayne Dupree Show. I'm your host, Wayne Dupree. We got to check out something real quick, but I'm so glad that we're here tonight here on the Right Side Broadcasting Network and on Spreaker and on WCCD. It gives me a chance to reach out to each one of you and say thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done in helping us to upgrade everything, our set, to upgrade our lights, to upgrade our camera. Some of you were asking earlier about Hutch being on camera. Just purchased the camera today. It's on its way to Hutch. Hopefully by Friday, we'll have Hutch up on the screen here, so you'll be able to laugh at both of us, okay? Okay. That was, okay. So with that said, the reason why I want to say thank you is because this is not about us. This is not about us. It's not about Hutch. It's not about myself. You don't hear me coming on here and talking about my numbers, my political numbers. You don't hear me talking about myself. And because you know what? It's not about me. It's about you. It's about you. And that's just the way that we want it done. We want it done that way. And we care about you so much that I promise you, we will take a back seat to each and every one of you. We just want you to raise your voice. We want you to bring out the patriot that's inside yourself. We need you to fight when the political leaders won't. Okay? You know what? As a matter of fact, I got a surprise for you before the end of the show. Miss Johnson from Tacoma, Washington, the Johnson family. I got your package. and you're going to be surprised before the show is ended. We got 484 on the line. How you doing, 484?
Hey, how you doing? This is Blake.
Hey, Blake, how you doing?
Great. I'm from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
All right. All right.
Congratulations on your syndication.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, we got your call on, I picked it up on the Facebook to call in on CNN.
CRN, yeah.
We had a lot of people calling them in there, and I don't think any of them were saying, how they were hurt or something about the Muslim ban.
Oh, yeah,
and
CNN,
all that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
We were calling them in, just pretty much telling them what was on our minds. And that was a great opportunity.
You know
I really
what, too?
Thank you for that.
You know what? What's your name again?
Blake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Blake is talking about earlier today. CNN put out a number, and the number was to call. I mean, if you were hurt by the Muslim ban, or if it affected you somehow, call this number. So, Leisha, who is a part of the show, gave me the information. I put it out. Joe Biggs even retweeted it or retweeted it, and we were like, flood them, shut them down. Shut them down. I mean, if they're dumb enough to put a phone number out there like that, because I know I called them. I asked for a pizza. I did. I asked for a pizza. I even asked them how their
some ghost pepper chicken.
You see, you sound like you crying. Stop talking. No, but I mean,
well,
go ahead, Blake.
I called them up and I told them. I said, listen. I said, this is nothing but just a pause for somebody to, like, when you're going in to check your bags, sometimes it takes like an hour and a half to check your bags when you're going international flights. And I told them, I said, it's just like a pause. It's no big deal. I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Right. Hey, Blake, I appreciate you calling. Thank you. You said
you guys take care, man.
You said this was your first time calling, right?
No, I've called. This is like the third time I called. I gave you a virtual hug when you were feeling a little down there. A couple weeks back.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you, Blake. I appreciate that. My buddy.
No problem.
My
no
buddy.
Problem. I mean,
right.
You guys, you and Hutch and everybody down there are doing so well.
Thank you.
That it's like I can't wait till 9:00 comes around for you guys to come on. Although I like to try to go to bed a little early, but I stay up just to listen to you guys.
I like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Congrats.
Hey, Hutch, I got to go get something, so you take over.
Alrighty, we can do that. Yeah. There won't be any calls during this segment, ladies and gentlemen, but Wayne will be right back. You're listening to the Wayne Dupree program on Spreaker and on the RSBN network, and they've got a lot of new programming coming up. Stacy, I'm telling you, it's an exciting time to be in this kind of business right now. I mean, when you look at everything that's going on, we're at the forefront, man. I mean, this is something, the paradigm is shifting. The corporate news media is being exposed for the shills that they are. And, I mean, we're at a certain level, but there's a level above us, like Breitbart. Breitbart has actually gotten into the administration.
I know, and it's so nice to see, and it's not just Bannon. I believe one of their other younger writers there, she's 25, just got
Julia Hall, I think her name.
Julia Hahn, I think.
There you go. You're right.
And she was just added as a senior advisor, which is driving Paul Ryan's camp crazy because she has been very outspoken about him and really just reporting the facts, something that he's not quite accustomed to. So I'm sure that they are not thrilled with that. And it is an exciting time. It is, and it's time to, continue to put out the truth, because we are not, I think, as we've illustrated this evening, not going to get that from the Big Six, and that includes Fox News Channel. And so it's thrilling to see places like Breitbart get up, LifeZet getting questions in the White House press briefing. It's a good time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I had to go and get these. I forgot to get them before the show. And let me tell you, I asked you if you want to send us an email to let us know how we're doing, if you want to drop us a line to give some ideas of what we should talk about on the show, even if you just want to shoot the breeze, I gave you my email address. And what some of you did, which really I'm smiling at it, is that you went to WayneDupree.com. If you didn't have the email address, you went to WayneDupree.com and you clicked on the contact and you submitted your questions or your email that way. And I got some right here, and I promised myself I was going to read a couple tonight. So let me let you know. I got Jack Belgardy, who called last week. Hutch, you remember him? He was starting his own YouTube channel,
right?
And he said that I was a person who called in on the show, telling you about my show. You told me to send a link to it. I'm a huge fan of your show, and I do hope that you enjoy my show. Jack, I took a look at your show. I like how the layout is done. I think that you're on your way. I will send a couple of tips and pointers. I'm not an expert, but I'll send you a couple of tips and pointers because I think that you got something going forward. And on top of that, you're doing something that a whole lot of other people should be doing, and you have stepped out to have your voice heard on YouTube. So I think that's great right there. I got Deborah, who says, I listened to the Wayne Dupree show for the first time Friday night. What was the co-host referring to about Murfreesboro, Tennessee, when a woman caller called Tracy from Tennessee, called discussing refugees and other matters? I think that was to you, Hutch.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee had a mega mosque that was being built, and the local community was standing against it. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I don't have the current status of that right now, but I will get it and talk about it tomorrow night.
All right, there we go. Thomas Sims. My name is Thomas Sims. This is for me. Thomas Sims has a patented product. I'd love to send it to you so you could try it for free. And if you like it, share it on your show. So I told him to go ahead and send it. I won't tell you what it's about, but okay. Let's see. Cajun Ken from Prairieville, Louisiana. Wayne, I love to see Sean Spicer, White House press speaker, change the rules governing the media press corps briefings. When opening the briefing for Q&A from the news media, it should be orderly, i.e. the reporters should remain quiet until they're called on, recognized by Sean by a raised hand. The recognized media reporter should then limit his response to one question only. This would give the rest of the news media reporters a chance to be recognized and have their questions answered during the time frame allocated to the briefing. This would also give Sean the ability to control the narrative and control the news media in an orderly fashion. God bless Donald Trump and his team. That's from Cajun Ken. So if anybody from the Trump campaign, the Trump team is watching that, that was from Cajun Ken. Laura Colio. I think I would mention a few things. Our Lady said that if we want peace to happen, we cannot just talk about peace. We have to make peace. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. So we have to be creatures of action. All my life, my mother talked about action. She was militant. My father was the contemplative and a good, amenable man. The other day in a speech, President Trump mentioned activism. I thought of my mother. She kept a quote on the refrigerator from one of the popes who mentioned the absolute necessity of action. I read in the private revelations that Our Lady was assigned legions of angels to protect/guide her while she was on earth. She still has the legion of angels in heaven to help her. Each of us has a guardian angel. Thanks, RSBN, for doing all which is right. You've really helped me. I return the favor. Miss Peacock. Tracy from Tennessee, as a matter of fact. Hutch and Stacy, can you please explain how Schumer can block cabinet picks when Senate has 52 votes. We need Sessions and Secretary of State now. I think that's what SOS means. I am concerned about this with all the civil unrest, and now Obama and Clinton are blabbering away. Go.
Well, you need the only thing that really applies to is Supreme Court nominees. In the original rules of the Senate, it takes 3/4 or 60 votes to approve a Supreme Court justice. And so some Democrats would have to come over to the other side in order to do that. However, what was Reid's name? The Senate Majority Leader in the last administration, Harry Reid.
One-Eye Reid
changed the Senate rules, which they can do at any time. And he made it to where it was just a majority, except for Supreme Court nominees. Well, Mitch McConnell will be forced by the administration to change the rules yet again to make it a simple majority for Supreme Court nominees if the Democrats try to get cocky. That being said, there are so many Democrats in red states like Manchin and some others that they're going to come over and vote for the Republican Supreme Court Justice nominee.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got breaking news.
Yeah, Stacey brought that to us, didn't she?
I got breaking news. Donald Trump has fired the acting Attorney General, Sally Yates, for refusing to enforce the immigration.
You got to have a music plug-in with something.
All right, okay. I'm going to say it again. President Trump has fired Sally Yates, who was the acting Attorney General left over from Obama's administration, because she refused to enforce the immigration executive order. That man's a boss, man. He's a gangster. He's
a thug life. I mean, I'm telling you, Yates, there's a job waiting for you at the ACLU. Just go down there.
They got money.
Get in your cubicle.
Did you see how much money they had?
Oh, they got a lot of money.
Jesus.
And
hey, Soros has some deep pockets, man.
He does. Those
it's time to take him off the street.
I think so too. I mean,
it's time to take that guy off the street.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people feel that way, not just in the U.S. That sentiment seems to be spreading. I did want to get back to blocking those appointments, and it doesn't look like they can be blocked indefinitely, but they can certainly be delayed through filibuster for several months. And I think that, probably what they are looking to do is to jump off on this Soros-funded BS and attempt to, get them to maybe withdraw some people, or at least just to score some points to keep this madness going.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage here on the Wayne Dupree Show, I got a militant friend here. I mean, this guy is all over Twitter. He is making moves, and like I said, he's getting ready to join the RSBN family in a few weeks. He's going to have a show here on RSBN. I was just told that. I didn't even know, Joe. I didn't even know that. But but we're glad to have him on the show. You can follow him at Rambo Biggs with 2 G's. Rambo Biggs with 2 G's on Twitter. He's massive. He has a voice, and I'm happy to have him on the show. Big brother Joe Biggs. What's up, Jay?
What's going on?
What's going on, man? I want to introduce my co-host, Mr. Hutch Billy Jr.
Good evening, Mr. Biggs. What's going on? Wow. Glad to have you on the show.
It's just another day celebrating Trumpsmas. I mean, it's a holiday every day right now in America. It's pretty amazing.
And then we also have Miss Stacey Rush, the First Lady of War Radio. Hey, Stace.
Hey, and I'm happy to say Mr. Biggs finally followed me back after a year of pestering him. So, hey, Joe, it's nice to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I have to say, too, before we get started with you, I'm sorry you're a Patriots fan, because the Falcons will be bringing home their very first Super Bowl.
I'm not even going to tell you who just sent me an autographed Tom Brady jersey and Randy Moss jersey, but it will be worn Sunday.
What? Oh my God! Really?
That should bring you some comfort, Joe.
You know what? It's not that easy. We're already winning so much with Trump. I can understand that you're just not ready to win even more than that. I mean, that's okay.
No, I'm 100% ready. And listen, they underestimated Trump, and they've been underestimating Atlanta. It's going to happen.
Oh, I forgot they even had an NFL team, to be quite honest. And
Oh.
The playoffs, and I was like, whoa! They just really laid the smackdown on like they did. That was pretty intense.
Well,
being the absolute Steeler fan that I am, I'm going to have to recuse myself from this conversation.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all right as long as you tried.
Yeah, I mean, I have sworn off football after Cowboys got booted out by a team that didn't even show up against the Falcons, man. I mean, you got to be sick. There's a sick feeling in my stomach that the team that beat us didn't even show up in the championship game, man.
It was horrible. It was. It's drugs, man. I think that's what it is.
That's what it is. Hey, JB, listen, we got a problem going around this nation right now. We got real ignorant snowflakes just walking around, just doing protests at anything, at the drop of a hat. I mean, last week it was something else. This week it's the Muslim ban. What do you think about how they are trying to because I feel they are trying to move everything toward the 2018 election. They're trying to dismiss the Trump presidency, and they're trying to taint it so much early that it carries for the next 2 years.
Well, think about this, though. I mean, this says a lot about Donald Trump. I mean, last year when he was running, he told us exactly what he would do within his first few days of becoming president if he were to be elected. And he's doing that. Mm-hmm. And I believe the left understood that he was going to be someone who was going to, he was being very honest. And they knew that when he said he was going to do something based off of his work ethic through the last, 30 years, that he's a man who's going to do what he says. So these people actually had to step up on the game. That they've known that these bans were going to happen. They've known that these laws were going to pass, that he was going to try to repeal Obamacare, that all this stuff was going to happen. Everything that he said he was going to do, he is doing, and they've had time to sit down and plan this stuff very carefully. And I listened when you guys first started. I mean, when the ban came down, these were the 7 countries that Obama had already named as terrorist states. Quite frankly, he had been already bombing them unconstitutionally with drone strikes all over the place. He created this refugee madness, and yet he blames it on Trump. He can't even own up to what he's done and this chaos that he's created. And here we are sitting here picking up the pieces of 8 years of a failed presidency from Barack Obama, and it's Teflon Don who's got to take all the hits. And look at this. This is a guy who worked tirelessly for the last year. He did more speeches than anybody in a day for a year straight.
Right.
And I expect nothing less of him as the president. He has tirelessly been behind that desk, working his butt off, working with Secretary of Defense, General Mattis! Getting stuff done like that. We are kicking ISIS's butt.
That's
We're
right.
going to continue to kick ISIS's butt. And the liberal media is so mad because we are winning so much. It's ridiculous.
And Joe, let me ask you this. I agree with you. I think we're winning as well. But I do think that the mainstream media, unfortunately, does continue to have somewhat of a large megaphone for those who don't really pay attention to what's been going on in the changing landscape. So do you think that we're going to continue to win on this? What's your position, and how do you think that the mainstream media and their temper tantrums are going to help or hurt Trump with, in particular, the quote unquote Muslim ban that's going on?
Well, they're going to nitpick everything down to the T. He's going to do what he said he's going to do, like I said, and they're not going to have any way to attack him for that because they already knew it was going to happen. But they're going to be like, well, you didn't do this much is what you said, or maybe a little bit was different here. And they're going to try to nitpick at him every way possible. And this isn't a Muslim ban. This is a ban on states that do have terrorism ties, countries that do not like us, many which of why, because Barack Obama, who somehow won the Nobel Peace Prize, was droning the hell out of them. and created this chaos. So, at the end of the day, in 2011, Barack Obama banned Iraqis from coming into America for 6 months. And I know it's hard for a lot of people out there to understand math with all this Common Core, but if you multiply 3 months times 2, that's 6. So Barack Obama banned Muslims from Iraq twice as long as what Donald Trump is doing it, but he's doing it with 7 countries in less the time, and they're going to come out with a better way to vet this process. And yes, there are some stringent ways that they already are vetting people, but a lot of these people have skated through. Look what happened at San Bernardino. Look what happened with many of these other terror attacks. These people were already on the radar, and yet for some reason they kept slipping through, and people died.
Right, Joe, and Hutch Bailey Jr. here. Berg's Eye View just sent you a request on Twitter. That would be me. But there's 45 other countries, Muslim, how'd they say it in the media? Muslim majority nations. There's 45 other ones, including a couple of the most populous nations in the world, India, Indonesia, that weren't even mentioned in this temporary ban. I'd like to see a more serious ban myself, but and you see the media, the way that they're dealing with this. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I think the intellectual dishonesty in the media is going to help us in the new media. Speaking of that, I understand that you're going to have a show about guns.
Yes, I don't know if you guys have me up on video or not, but I do have a plethora of guns behind me.
I see that, man. You locked and loaded, ain't you? You ready to go?
I got guns all over the place. Sniper rifles, semi-automatic guns, AR pistols.
I'm in the Smith & Wesson studio myself.
I've got 2 Smith & Wesson pistols here. I got a 1911 EMP4 and a 1911 Range
Officer. Like a cowboy.
So that was the question I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you 1911 or a more modern SR-45 type?
I love the 1911 and I love the Glock. I love the Glock because it holds more rounds.
I don't like the Glock. You can't pistol whip somebody with a Glock.
Yeah. There's a good chance. Well, the thing about it is the safety mechanisms aren't really there. If you cowboy carry like I do, I don't like to use a holster. I just shove it down my pants and
my man, I like you.
Let it go. I don't like wearing holsters. But I do like the safety mechanisms as far as the 1911 is concerned. It's a lot safer to use, especially for people who've never done it before. And I always teach people safety when it comes to guns, because if you don't have fear for a firearm, you don't respect it, then you too can be a victim of being a dumbass and shooting yourself.
Hey, Joe, news just shot off within the last hour. Donald Trump fired the active.
South Gates.
That's gangster move. And that's definitely gonna take all of the news coverage, the news cycles for the next couple of days. What do you think about that firing?
Yeah, that's awesome. That shows that he's in charge. He's saying, "Hey, man, you're going to go against what I said I was going to do. I made a promise to the American people that I was going to do this. That we were going to shut down the border. We were going to come up with a better way to vet these people coming through from these areas that are war torn." That do not like America, do not share Western culture values or anything like that. And we're going to get a better grip on what's going on. And it's funny, today I was watching the news and I think it was like CNN or somebody, and they interviewed some guy who was Iranian. He's like, I'm not going to be able to go home for 3 months and see my grandma. And I was like, boo-hoo. We have soldiers, Marines, sailors, and airmen who deploy for a year and a half. I'm a retired U.S. Army veteran. I deployed for a year to 15 months. If you can't wait 3 months to see Nana or Poppy, you'll be okay. Get over it, snowflake. Suck it up. Be an adult. It's okay. We're trying to make America great again. We're trying to make America safe again, because there's a lot of people out there that do not like us.
What did you think about President Obama sticking in his nose in today?
I actually didn't hear that part. I'm too busy tweeting out about this judge here in Austin, Texas, who decided to wear one of the women's march.
I saw that.
We'll say the nice word, kitty cat hat on her head.
Yeah. She wore it right on the bench. She wore it right on the bench, man.
What? I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, I tweeted it out. It's already at 500,000 tweet impressions right now. It's one of the top things on there.
As a matter of fact, I took it and I gave you credit. I put it on my YouTube. On my Facebook page. I said via Joe Biggs, but I couldn't believe that she was sitting on the bench with that hat. that lets you know you got a liberal judge up there. I mean, it should be easy to say, you know what, I want a new judge. Mistrial. I
don't know what kind of judge she is, but if it was like divorce court or trying to get control of your kids, if you're a man walking in that courtroom, you got to be worried right there.
You have to be.
Now, did you happen to catch the hearing that they had in the Austin State House today or yesterday with the Muslim situation with CARE in there and everything?
That's tomorrow. That's going on tomorrow at 9 a.m. all the way.
I had a call tonight that there was something else that happened in the last couple of days. But anyway, all right, that's fine. But the whole situation about the intellectual dishonesty in the media about this, they call it a Muslim ban, but we were talking earlier, and then every single network changed the verbiage to Muslim majority countries. I mean, are you guys following the collusion between Fox News and the rest of them?
Oh, I mean, they're all dirty. I mean, here's the thing. I'm very well traveled. I've been to many of these countries. There are tons of Christians in Iraq, many of which are being persecuted in Mosul that had been taken over by ISIS. There's a group of people called the Free Burma Rangers. They're ex-Army Rangers who were living in Burma, helping out there. They saw what was going on in Mosul by ISIS, and they were kidnapping these Christian families. Many of them were being killed, tortured, held hostage. The women were being sold into human trafficking as sex slaves and things like that. And there's literally guys right now who are not affiliated with the military right now. They're civilians, so to say. They're retired. And they're out there putting their butt on the line for Christians who are being killed by Muslims in those countries. And it's happening in Syria. There's Christians in all of these Middle Eastern countries, but no one talks about their struggle. No one talks about them being persecuted.
You're so right. There's not very many left in Iraq. There really aren't.
It's few far in between, but that's sad though. It's genocide right now. It's Christian
There used
genocide.
to be a lot, I know. And you didn't see Chuck Schumer crying
about it,
crocodile tears about him.
Yeah.
No. I saw that yesterday live. I almost threw up.
Wasn't that sick? I mean, I was like, come on, man. You sitting up there talking about you ain't gonna let Trump's judges go through, and you all Billy Badass and everything, and now all of a sudden, come on now.
I gotta hand it to him, man. I've done some acting before. I've been on Homeland and some other shows and stuff, and it takes a lot to conjure up a tear like that. Like, this guy was literally triggered so much that he cried.
He had a tacking issue.
He's got one hell of an acting coach, and I'd like to hire that guy.
He had a tacking issue. That's what he had. He had a tacking issue.
Yeah.
That was his coke nose, too.
You heard the camera guy, too. Right when he was in the middle of it, it was like...
Cut that line for Chuck. Also, before I let you go, this women march that was created by this Sharia law Muslim lady, whatnot. The left is getting punked, and I looked at some of the pictures today, and I looked at some of, just dangerous pictures that they were. I remember back in 2001, I went to England like maybe 4 times. In those couple of years, I was privileged back then, and I remember that they had so many Muslims in 2000 and 2001 that it was almost like a half and half. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like a half and half. So when I'm looking at, there was a video of Dulles International Airport last night, and they were in the middle of the walkway, in the floor, and they're doing their prayer. And I tweeted out, I'm sick. I'm sick of watching this. And somebody, I think it was a Muslim female, hit me up. So you're scared of prayer? You damn right I'm scared of what it's doing, because it looks like it's innocent, but you don't see Christians stopping traffic or impeding somebody's movement with prayer. Just plop right down and dare you to do anything, Joe.
Yeah. What people don't understand is one of the last guys that was caught, it was one of the guys that was put in Guantanamo, and I can't remember who it was. It was a reporter went in and interviewed this guy, and he said, we're not going to carry out any more 9/11 attacks. He's like, that's the old way. Right. We got your attention. What we're going to do now is systematically use your liberal laws against you. We're going to use them to defeat you because you guys are, quite honestly, in the West and America, weak. You're so your hearts are too big and you're too blind to look at the truths that we're going to use your laws against you. We're going to implement Sharia law, and then when we have you down on your knees, we're going to slit your throat and cut freedom away from you. And that's one of the quotes the guy said. And when you look at this women's march, and you see the lady who put it together, she's from Saudi Arabia. She is a follower of Sharia law, a promoter of Sharia law, which is completely and totally against women's rights every single manner. If you know anything about Saudi Arabia, a woman can have her head chopped off for simply looking at another man. There was a family, a husband and a wife, that threw acid on their daughter because she looked at a boy.
Sure did.
You know, women can be stoned to death. Homosexuals thrown off of buildings and bridges. There's nothing progressive about that. There's nothing liberal and loving about that. That's completely and totally psychotic. But the thing is, though, I always tell everyone, liberals have the suicide gene. Liberals are literally willing to cuck out and almost kind of go, well, I just want to be so cool and nice. But meanwhile, ISIS is standing over their back with a sword to their neck, cutting away, and they're like, oh my God, this is my fault. You were marginalized. You're a victim to us. Oh my God, it's white males' fault that are able-bodied and cisgendered and blah 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 blah. And it's the most sickening madness. Liberalism is cancer. It's ridiculous.
Starbucks wants to hire 10,000 refugees, but they can't even open up their hiring process to veterans.
Yeah, we got homeless veterans crazy, right now all over the place in Austin,
that want
Texas.
jobs. They want jobs, you know? They want jobs, and Starbucks like, no. Oh, refugees, come on in. Just we'll walk them right by the veterans that are the homeless veterans that are sitting out in front of Starbucks property, you know? It's crazy, Joe. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Veterans over refugees all day. I mean, look, I understand there are kids that come across. Me living in Texas, I've covered all over Texas, the border, Arizona, and California. Yeah, I've seen some kids. But, you know, if you remember a year ago and 2 years ago, they were like, oh, my God, it's all these little kids that are coming across the border. And it's so tragic. No, 90% of them are actual gang-aged males with actual, MS-13 or whatever tattoos all over their bodies. I mean, there's a huge issue going on. That's one thing I'm pretty happy about is, for once, you actually have Border Patrol agents, ICE agents who are no longer shackled by the Obama administration. You know, when I first started working at InfoWars, a lot of my first reports were at the border. And I remember walking and crossing the border and going into Mexico and coming back and forth and doing it right beside a Border Patrol vehicle. Meanwhile, that guy's sitting there playing Angry Birds, and I just thought the Border Patrol was lazy people. But I didn't know, it took months and months of me researching that they weren't being lazy. They just weren't being allowed to do their job. Right. And it was disgusting. And now we actually have a president that's going to allow them to do their job. You know, that border is a serious issue.
And they're elated. They're happy, man. Yeah, they are elated.
You know, I made a call a year ago that the cartels and ISIS, that, terrorists would come together and work together. And, there was a report 2 weeks ago by Judicial Watch that in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico, which is right across from Laredo on the Mexican side, ISIS and cartels attacked the U.S. consulate. And I did a report on that. I actually went into a NAPRA where there's an ISIS base and did reports from there. And everyone mocked me and laughed at me and said it would never happen, these two coming together. But, think about this. ISIS is one of the wealthiest terrorist organizations in the world. The cartels are extremely wealthy. They have weapons and they have tunnels to get into the U.S. So it's easy for them to work together. They've got those routes. They can bring in the fighters and they want more money. And ISIS has that money from all those oil fields. So it's a win-win for them. So that's why we need to strengthen that border up. It's not a joke.
Hey, Joe, tell everybody about your show and what you're going to be doing on your show here on RSBN.
Well, with RSBN, there'll be a new show coming up. Basically, it's going to be all things Second Amendment. From gun safety to what do you do in an active shooter situation, how you as a responsible gun owner should go day to day and think about that weapon you're carrying, how you should respect it and fear it, to think outside the box when you go into a building, looking for exits, looking where you can go, placing yourself in positions to be productive if something does happen, so you're not a victim. Also, the hunting aspect. A lot of people think that meat comes from the grocery store and it's wrapped in cellophane. I'm very anti that. 90% of all the meat that I eat comes from out here in the woods, out here in the field when I go on hunts.
90%, good deal.
I stock my freezer. I just killed 3 black buck antelopes last Tuesday, and my freezer is stock full of it. And I've been cooking it for my wife every day. She's pregnant, and all my buddies in town. And basically, I want to show people how to hunt, how to do it, how to field dress those animals. And what that means is skinning them and cleaning them right there, quartering them, how you transport that in compliance with the laws, with the wildlife regulations, fish and game wildlife, and then the next step, taking it to the kitchen. What do you do once you've gotten your kill? What do you do with that animal? How are you going to cook it? How do you store it? What's the best way to make it last as long as it's in your freezer so it doesn't get freezer burn? And it's just going to be an overall everything, What does it mean when a sight's MOA, minute of angle, versus, another type of scope, the different types of ammunition, the grains, everything that encompasses. If you're a responsible gun owner and you want to know about that and you ask a question, one of my episodes will answer it for you.
Hey, Joe, how can people reach out to you on social media?
You can reach me on Twitter at Rambo Biggs. I'm on it all day, every day. That's the only way you get to stay in the game. It's not anyone else running my account, so I do everything myself. I have Instagram, which is SSG Biggs. That's the abbreviation for Staff Sergeant. And then just Joe Biggs on Facebook. Trust me, when you see the picture, you'll know who it is. I'm that guy.
Hey, well, look, we're going to have you back on, and congratulations on your new show on RSBN. Welcome to the family, man. We're looking forward to your show, man.
Roger that, and I might have something else coming up on Netflix or something, so stay tuned for that as well.
Hey, I will support you on Netflix. I just have to turn off House of Cards, but, that's easy, though. I do. All right, thanks, man.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Biggs. Mr. Joe Biggs. He has a show.
I'm going to watch that show.
Yeah.
That actually is going to be very. I took a class not too long ago before I purchased my first firearm, and it is. There is so much to know, and everything that he's covering. That's actually going to be a pretty interesting show.
I forgot to ask him, what does elk taste like? Steak or chicken?
I think it depends how you marinate it.
I want some milk now.
I do too.
I want some milk.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say I do not.
Oh, you probably would. If I cooked it.
Yeah, I'm sure. If one of y'all did, both of y'all are good cooks, so I'm sure it'd be delicious.
Yeah, I am a good cook.
Me too.
I ain't gonna play. I do damage in the kitchen.
Oh, me too, man. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Hutch get over those onions. He started crying like he was watching the inaugural again.
See, there we go. He did it again. He did it again. That's okay, though.
That's okay. Hutch, I cried over some onions last night, so it happens to us all every once in a while.
Yeah, but he's talking about I cried over a parade, man. Now, see,
oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't forget.
It was touching, though. I can
It's
see.
the electricity.
Yeah, that was cool though. That was cool. Okay, let's see. Wait a minute. Let's hit this thing up right here. The hour goes by quick. We want to thank Mr. Joe Biggs for joining the show.
Joe B. Rambo
Biggs on Twitter. And don't forget to follow him on Facebook. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Remember, he's going to have a show here on RSBN. I'm glad to have a fellow veteran here, someone that loves the country, that doesn't cheat, doesn't steal, does what he's supposed to do. That's somebody to follow, somebody to trust.
Staff Sergeant, backbone of the Army.
And I only left the military as a sergeant, but I didn't want to put rank out there. But he does outrank me a little bit.
And he's
hysterical
on top of it. So
don't let me tell you my rank.
So does Hutch. Hutch also outranks me too.
CW foe.
Yeah, he's
selected for 5, but I retired.
Yeah,
but it's everybody. It takes them all.
Okay, listen. We're going to be back tomorrow here on the Right Side Broadcasting Network and on Spreaker and on iHeartRadio and on WCCD AM 1000 out of the greater Cleveland area. Want to thank all of you for tuning in. And we're going to have some more information for you tomorrow. Send your emails. I will be reading them here. Thank you for staying in touch with us on and thank you for watching the show. We're going to answer some more phone calls tomorrow. Stacey, how can people reach out to you on social media?
Well, it was a pleasure, as always, being with you guys and with Mr. Biggs. And you guys can reach me easiest on Twitter. I'm at DiscoveringMe40. Just type in disco. And I'm at The Right Rush on Gab.
And Hutch.
Hey, I'm Hutch Bailey Jr. on Facebook, Berg's Eye View on Twitter, and Cold War Radio app is available at your stores.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't leave here tonight and forget the Democrats are getting punked with this Muslim sympathy. Okay, actually, we're gonna go more into it tomorrow with Hutch, and we're gonna go into it some more because everybody needs to know that they are trying to take over this country through sympathy and our laws. As a matter of fact, they're trying to do it real soft like. You can contact me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Facebook, Instagram, Gab, and Twitter. Just type in Wayne Dupree Show. You can also download my app. It's free. Just type in The Wayne Dupree Show. And if you download, leave a review so that people will say, hey, you know what? I think this is a good app. Or if it's a bad app, just keep it to yourself. You don't have to tell nobody. All right, Micah. Micah is our producer at the RSBN Studios. Thank you, Micah. Joe and Bridget, I love both of you. Take care of my boys and take care of my dog. Try to get some of those ribs after February. Y'all have a good night.